By 2026, one single organization is projected to pull in $13 billion. They dictate the global footprint of the world's most popular sport, yet they manufacture absolutely zero physical products. They do not even own the stadiums where the games are played. But a look back at their history reveals a jarring reality. For most of the 20th century, this global administrative body was little more than a filing cabinet and an empty bank account. In fact, heading into the 1974 financial cycle, the organization reported its total cash reserves at exactly $20. Going from the price of a cheap lunch to a $13 billion empire required the most aggressive corporate pivot in the history of global sports. That year, João Havelange took office as president, with a highly specific mandate to convert this modest committee into a commercial enterprise. His immediate priority was basic financial survival. Havelange courted massive corporate wealth, securing a foundational sponsorship pipeline from Coca-Cola right before the 1974 tournament kicked off. Then he locked on to the exploding television market. By aggressively expanding global licensing beyond early BBC contracts, he engineered multi-billion-dollar global broadcast packages. With the vault filling up, Havelange recognized the political leverage of the organization's one country, one vote system. He began channeling this massive influx of corporate cash directly into developing nations across Africa and Asia, funding the construction of local fields, training facilities, and infrastructure. That infrastructure rollout guaranteed him an incredibly loyal global voting bloc that kept the commercial machine accelerating without internal opposition. By the early 1990s, the organization discovered an entirely new, frictionless way to pride money: selling their name to software developers. The launch of the EA Sports video game franchise in 1993 sparked a retail phenomenon that eventually moved over 260 million copies worldwide. The game's success heavily contributed to lifting Electronic Arts' corporate valuation to an estimated £28 billion. The partnership became so lucrative that in certain financial cycles, the organization's net profit from digital licensing fees actually eclipsed the money made from their real-world matches. They had successfully mutated into a self-sustaining intellectual property farm, generating immense wealth from pixels while bypassing the overhead of physical sports entirely. Injecting billions of dollars into an international committee with zero external oversight created immediate structural vulnerabilities. A marketing firm known as ISL became deeply embedded with the organization's highest-ranking executives, monopolizing the sale of commercial rights for decades. When ISL eventually went bankrupt, investigators uncovered a paper trail of tens of millions of Swiss francs, systematically paid out in bribes to secure those lucrative marketing contracts. The fallout culminated in 2015, when federal law enforcement agencies raided the organization's Zurich headquarters, resulting in massive global indictments. The exact same aggressive financial strategies that rescued them from a $20 bank account had ultimately built a culture of complete institutional unaccountability. Yet the commercial leverage of their core product proved so strong that even global federal indictments could not derail their revenue projections. They felt so secure in their market dominance that in 2023 they demanded an estimated $1 billion per cycle just for their video game licensing, effectively killing their 30-year partnership with EA. Stripped of their largest digital partner, they immediately pivoted back to aggressively expanding their physical tournaments to fill the gap. Owning the rights to the cultural phenomenon of global soccer allows them to walk away from billion-dollar contracts without facing financial ruin. Looking at the current 2023 to 2026 financial cycle, their latest projections target a record $13 billion in revenue. This graphic breaks down the 2026 tournament structure. Expanding to 48 teams creates a massive new inventory of broadcast and advertising slots across 104 matches. Additionally, the revamped Club World Cup engineers a separate tournament generating another $2 billion. Through 50 years of relentless commercial engineering, a regulatory committee that once had $20
The administrative body. It set the rules and organized matches, but lacked the commercial infrastructure to capitalize on the massive global audience it controlled. The 1966 World Cup final in London reached hundreds of millions. Yet, despite owning the rights to this cultural phenomenon, the organization had no corporate mechanism to extract financial value from that scale. When Franz Beckenbauer lifted the trophy in 1974, it marked the end of soccer's purely sporting era. The potential for growth was obvious, but the organization remained a modest association of officials. To capture the true value of that global attention, they had to transform the way international sports were sold. That transformation began with João Havelange. When he took office as president, he brought a vision to restructure the organization into a profit-driven multinational. Havelange secured foundational funding through a historic partnership with Coca-Cola. By integrating branding directly into the tournament's identity, he established a financial blueprint for every corporate deal that followed. He then turned his focus to television. Under his leadership, the organization aggressively licensed global broadcasting rights, turning modest regional contracts into multi-billion-dollar global bidding wars. The capital from these deals provided political leverage. Havelange funded stadiums and training facilities in developing nations, creating a voting bloc of loyal supporters that helped maintain his control for decades. As the commercial model matured, major brands like Adidas and Gillette became permanent fixtures of the tournament, with logos appearing on the official equipment and pitch sideboards. This was formalized through the FIFA Partner Program. It was a structural system that packaged exclusive global rights into tiers, ensuring a steady stream of corporate capital flowed directly into the organization's headquarters. However, this rapid commercial expansion occurred without strict oversight. In the decades that followed, the collapse of marketing partners and the 2015 FIFAgate raids revealed a system where tens of millions in bribes were exchanged for broadcasting rights. Despite the scandals, Havelange's tenure had proven that global sports tournaments could be operated as immensely profitable advertising platforms. After maximizing physical revenue, the organization targeted a new digital frontier. In 1993, they licensed their name to EA Sports for what would become one of the most successful video game franchises in history. The partnership was a massive success, with the series selling over 260 million copies across 3 decades. Comparing digital licensing fees versus physical tournament revenue highlights a massive shift. In some years, EA Sports licensing profit actually exceeded net revenue from real-world matches. This single intellectual property helped lift EA's valuation to a staggering £28 billion, exceeding the most prestigious soccer clubs. But the partnership ended in 2023 over a financial dispute. The organization reportedly demanded $1 billion per World Cup cycle just for the use of its name. EA refused the demand, rebranding the series to EA Sports FC. They bypassed the governing body by paying individual leagues like the Premier League directly to maintain the rights to players and teams. This digital empire proved that selling the rights to the idea of football could be as profitable as selling tickets to the game itself. The current strategy focuses on increasing physical inventory. For the 2026 Men's World Cup, the tournament will expand to 48 teams, resulting in a total of 104 matches for broadcasters to air. This expansion is designed to hit a record-breaking financial target, a projected $13 billion in revenue for the 2023-2026 cycle. Outside the traditional World Cup window, a revamped Club World Cup has been introduced, engineered to generate an additional $2 billion in revenue. This projection for the 2026 cycle breaks down the $13 billion target into its core components. Broadcasting rights account for $4.26 billion, while marketing and sponsorship add another $2.69 billion. The commercialization even extends to the equipment on the pitch. The official 2026 match ball, the Trianda Smart Ball, represents the latest in high-end sports engineering. This ball contains a 500 Hz microchip and internal Connexin sensors that require USB charging. It is a tool designed to harvest precise data from every kick. The evolution of the match ball from stitched leather to a high-frequency data tool mirrors the organization's own transition into a multi-billion-dollar commercial enterprise. The infrastructure built over the last 50 years has cemented the organization's position as a global media and licensing conglomerate. Despite historical scandals, its financial model remains remarkably resilient. The organization that once held $20 in its bank account now controls the commercial rights to the most widely consumed cultural event on Earth. Subscribe to the channel and comment below for the next company. The suggestion with the most likes wins.